Hey everyone, welcome to 10-Minute Mentorship brought to you by the Credit Union National Association. This is an important series where we talk to credit union leaders about the important topic of career development. My name is Antonio Neves. I'm a speaker, author, coach, and proud credit union member. And before I introduce our esteemed guest, first I just want to say thank you to our sponsor, CUNA Mutual Group. We truly appreciate all you do to keep the credit union industry thriving and moving boldly into the future. Now, without further ado, I want to welcome to 10-Minute Mentorship our guest, John Smith from BECU in the great state of Washington. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. And we're going to get straight into it with these questions for you. I have 5 questions for you. And the first one is this, John. Let's say you had to start your career over starting today, but you know what you know up until this point in your life, all those things that you've learned so far. So if you had to start your career over today, where would you start? What are some of the key things you would do?
You start where you are. That's what I would recommend. At whatever station you are at your career, that's really what you have to work at mastering, that piece right there. And that's what I would encourage. Even with lots of experience in whatever role you have, you've got to master the one you currently hold. And then that's going to propel you forward. And if you can become the expert, the one that people go to for resource, to look to for an example of what to do in whatever situation it might be, start where you are, master that one.
I like that right there. Become an expert. So important, but also that message you give of start where you are. I think a lot of times we find ourselves getting too far ahead in our careers, and that stops us from being present. So thank you for that. The next question is this. This is an interesting one. Is there anything that you once believed to be true as it relates to work and career that you no longer believe to be true?
This one may sound a little counterproductive, but I used to believe that a college degree is everything. You've got to be this wonderfully educated person before you can do anything. And I no longer believe that. I think education is important, and for those who go that direction, move that way. But in today's world, we need grown-up adult people to do a job. And if that person is available who has not been to college, but they've got the experience, I think that's a valuable person to have on your team. Somebody who understands the mission at hand and is just ready to roll up their sleeves and go to work with the knowledge and the skills of who they are. And that's great stuff for me.
Oh, I really appreciate you for saying that, because like you, I once believed you had to have that piece of paper. But like you just said, as long as you have the great attitude, you're willing to work hard, it doesn't matter what you have hanging up on the wall behind you. So thank you for that reminder for folks who are listening. Now, this is an interesting question. For those men and women out there watching this who feel like they are regularly overlooked at work, and maybe they feel like, John, they're not getting the recognition that they deserve, what would you say to them?
Well, it's hard to answer this question today, 2020, without looking at the current environment in which we live and some of the things going on in the world. So you have to be careful to look at the whole situation. But I think, what can you do? What's your responsibility as the person trying to move forward? I say you have to own your situation and begin to talk with people. Find that person who you can trust and confide in and have good conversations with. Somebody that is not afraid to tell you the truth and you are willing to receive that truth. So I think you have to look around wherever you are, pick up your head, and go find the tools, the resources you need to move forward. And by all means, if the things in your environment are not straight, they're not accurate according to the way we need to work as a society, I think you have to address those directly as well. But I think the beginning is you have to own your situation.
I love what you're talking about. Is something that, as you know, a lot of people don't like to do, and that's taking accountability, personal accountability for their experience, for what is and what is not happening. But I also love the piece, John, you talk about being willing to get that feedback and
Right.
learn from it, which is one of the toughest things because we have to be humble in that. But I appreciate you for saying to remember to get that feedback and to learn from it.
One other thing I'd like to add there is that I have some great people that I work with. And my current leader is an amazing man who I trust. And I think having somebody who believes in you is so important. No matter what I do, no matter how good I am, no matter what knowledge I have, without him helping guide me and believing in me that when he says do something and gives me instructions, I am then going to own that process and go get it done to the best of my ability. And he's a guy who will talk with me and say, John, well, let's do it this way instead. Or, great job. So having that mentor is so important.
Well, you referenced him, so we might as well give him a shout out. What's his name?
Rob Walworth.
All
Great
right,
guy.
Rob Walworth, you can send a check to John. You know his address.
Yeah, we prearranged it, you know.
All right, let's move on to this next question. I know you know what it's like to manage people and to lead people. And let's say someone out there is managing a team that used to do great work. They used to do exceptional work. Now they found themselves doing good work. Not bad work, John, but good work, but not the great work that they used to do. Maybe we can say they're on cruise control or they found themselves on autopilot. What would you recommend to people to find ways to get their teams re-engaged in the work that they're doing?
I need to sort of change the game, and that's what I would recommend is let's change something. So if it gets to be so mundane and, you know, wow, this is just what I do, we have to change it. We're not going to move away from providing excellent service and great communication, but how do we do it? Maybe there's some way to change that actual physical job that we do, or add something new to the role. Maybe we have a meeting on a regular basis. Change the date of the meeting, change the time. It could be just those simple things. You've got to have some belief in your folks that, hey, whatever it is that they're going through, get that relationship that you can talk with them individually and help move change as well.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some creative things to do. And you mentioned something that I just want to spend a quick moment highlighting. John, how would you describe the difference between managing someone and coaching someone?
In the managing area, we all have rules that we have to follow. So we have compliance things that we have to do. We have daily reports we've got to review and so on. Those are the pieces that you manage. And my area is mortgage lending. So a person who is a loan officer or mortgage advisor has to be able to do a couple of things. One is put together a file for a member, you know, gather their credit, income, assets, property, and program, and put that in a package. The other thing they have to do is be able to manage a whole pipeline of those files. So as a manager, that's the role that I think you fall into, where you have to manage the process of things. Where I'm coaching is on an individual basis to get exactly what you're talking about. How do I bring change in an environment that's going to help move it forward? So that's when you talk with a person. You look at them as an individual and their personality, and you try to manage that, or not manage it, but get them to see their strengths and where they need to maybe step it up as an individual, because the standards, the golf course is already there. You just need to go manage it. It's already established. We've got rules and guidelines.
Great. Thank you for being willing to break down the difference between those two, because I think it's really important. Some people think they're coaching, but they're actually managing. My last question for you is this. Obviously, you've had a successful career and you're going to continue to have a successful career. My hunch, John, is that every day hasn't been perfect. Everything hasn't always gone to plan. So when things haven't gone to plan, when things haven't been perfect, what do you do to remain optimistic of the future and positive?
Trying to stay calm in the situation and get perspective. And there's a thing that I do sometimes when it gets to be overwhelming. We have so much technology around us that I even get a piece of paper and a pen and write down today, what are the couple of things that are important? And you sometimes have to separate your personal from your business, from whatever else you're doing, and then write each little column down as to what it is today I need to do for this particular piece of my life. And it sort of helps keep it all together, I think. But life is a challenge nowadays, but we have to keep on moving forward. And that's what I believe. So that's where my attitude is. Let's go forward from here.
Beautiful. Right now, you got people Googling, what is a pen? What is paper? Because we've been typing so long, we're on our computers too much. Well, John, I can't thank you enough for taking time to join me for this interview. The information you shared is going to be helpful for so many people. Once again, thank you to our sponsor, CUNA Mutual Group, for making this happen. We thank you, the viewer, for watching 10-Minute Mentorship, and we will see you on our next episode.